Hey everybody, what's going on? Jared from Guns and Gadgets, and I got another example of how an anti-gun organization, or several anti-gun organizations, continue to use tragedy as a vehicle to advance restrictions on the exercise of a constitutional right. This time we're heading back to New York. Yes, the same state that today is trying to make it illegal to use the term mother and father. It's going to be gestational parent and non-gestational parent. That's on the governor's desk. But yes, Brady United is celebrating the introduction of what's being called Francesco's Law. And Francesco's Law, on the surface, supporters are pitching this as a common sense, safe storage bill designed to protect children and reduce accidents. But when you actually read the legislation, that's exactly what we're going to do today for you. You quickly realize it's far more expansive than the headlines suggest. And that's why it's important to go beyond the emotional press releases and look directly at the text of the bill itself. Because when politicians and advocacy groups tell you a law is about safety, your responsibility as a citizen is to ask one simple question. What exactly does the law do? I'm also going to ask you to keep asking this question. What gives them the constitutional authority to do this? Because the answer is, I'm going to break it down for you today. But before we do, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. This is Guns and Gadgets, where I cover the latest Second Amendment news, legal battles, legislation, and constitutional issues that affect all gun owners across all of America. If that sounds like something you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the fight for liberty never takes a day off, and neither do I. Come directly to the channel in your browser, youtube.com/@gunsgadgets, then you won't be blocked from getting information. Before we get into this, there are a lot of 2A organizations out there doing a lot of great work to stop the crazy anti-gun bills at their capitals, like New York. But I want to bring your attention to one that's focused on changing the hearts and minds of people pushing the bad bills. That's Women for Gun Rights. Women for Gun Rights is filling a hole in the culture war against guns and gun owners. And the woman's voice is mission critical to reaching those middle-of-the-road, non-traditional gun owners and voters. They counter Bloomberg's $60 million a year Moms Demand Action. And you can help fuel their effort by becoming a member. Guys and gals should be members. And they have some pretty cool incentives too when you join. They're running a monthly raffle, and the top 2 tiers get tickets automatically to win things each month. Check them out at womenforgunrights.org. And like I said, this is for guys too. Help them shape public opinion and 2A policy. And they also have a national summit coming up September 12th through the 14th. It's a gala, a conference, and a rally at the Capitol. So you get a Capitol Hill experience as well. It sounds like an epic event. Check them out, womenforgunrights.org. Now, according to Brady United, Francesco's Law was inspired by a tragic incident involving a young child who gained access to a firearm. Predictably, Brady is using this tragedy to push for what they describe as stronger safe storage requirements. Now, let me be crystal clear before the comment section explodes. We're on the same page here. Every responsible gun owner understands the importance of firearm safety. Every responsible gun owner understands that firearms should be secured from unauthorized access. Every responsible gun owner understands the importance of teaching children firearm safety. The question is not whether firearm safety is important. The question is whether the government gets to mandate it and add criminal penalties and expand state authority over a proper way to address that issue. And that's where this bill deserves serious scrutiny. So let's look at what the legislation actually does. Current New York law generally requires safe storage under specific circumstances. Historically, the law focused on situations where minors or prohibited persons resided in the home. Well, Francesco's Law dramatically expands that requirement. They're never happy. They just keep going. They keep pushing and pushing. Under this bill, any firearm owner who leaves a firearm outside of their immediate possession or control must secure it in what New York defines as a safe storage depository, or render it inoperable with a locking device. Because the criminals breaking in, God forbid it's outside of your wingspan, they're going to wait for you to be able to take that, gun out of your depository, or be able to take that gun lock off, because that'll happen. Remember, you can't say mother or father there either. Clowns. Now, the previous language tied storage requirements to specific risk factors such as minors and prohibited persons living in the residence. And this bill removes much of that limitation and imposes a broad storage mandate regardless of who else is present. And that's a substantial expansion of government regulation over lawfully owned firearms. Now, supporters will tell you it's no big deal, but let's think about the practical implications. Imagine you're home alone and there's no children present. Imagine there are no prohibited people present. Imagine you have a firearm staged for home defense, like many of us do. Under the expanded storage requirements, that firearm could potentially become the basis for a violation if it's not stored according to the state's prescribed standards. And that raises a legitimate constitutional question. How does a firearm locked in a safe help someone defend themselves against an immediate violent threat? Because at some point, there is an unavoidable tension between mandated storage requirements and the core self-defense purpose recognized by the Supreme Court. Now remember, what the Supreme Court said in the landmark case of District of Columbia versus Heller here is important. The court specifically struck down Washington, D.C.'s requirement that firearms in the home be rendered inoperable because it would interfere with the ability of citizens to use those firearms for immediate self-defense. That's not my opinion, that's the Supreme Court precedent. So already New York's law, even though it's not signed yet, she'll sign it, Hochul will sign it, it's already unconstitutional. Now let's move on to another section of the bill. The legislation also establishes new requirements for firearms left inside vehicles. Under this proposal, firearms stored in vehicles must be unloaded and locked in an approved storage container out of sight. Again, supporters will say this is common sense, but opponents will argue that every new criminal requirement creates additional opportunities for otherwise law-abiding citizens to become criminals through technical violations. And that's a concern that deserves discussion. The bill also creates a new criminal offense, and this is where things become especially important. The legislation creates a new crime called failure to safely store rifles, shotguns, and firearms when accessible by a minor or prohibited person. Under that proposal, if a firearm is stored in violation of the safe storage rules and a minor or prohibited person gains access to it, the firearm owner can be charged with a Class A misdemeanor. And that's significant because now we're not simply talking about recommendations, we're talking about criminal liability. We're talking about government punishment, expanding the criminal code. Now, to be fair, the bill includes certain exceptions. If a firearm is obtained through unlawful entry, such as burglary, the owner is generally protected. They probably won't prosecute the burglar, but I guess you get an attaboy for being protected generally. The bill also provides protections when a firearm is accessed during lawful self-defense, and those exceptions exist. But the broader concern remains. New York continues to build layer after layer of restrictions surrounding firearm ownership while treating the exercise of a constitutional right differently than virtually every other constitutional right. Think about that. They just got their ass kicked by the Supreme Court in Bruin, and they're back at it again, right? Habitual line steppers. We don't require citizens to lock up their printing presses before exercising the First Amendment. We don't require citizens to place government-approved locks on their religious materials before exercising the First Amendment. We don't criminalize the mere storage of constitutionally protected speech. Yet when it comes to firearms, politicians increasingly view government control as a default answer, like they have some power. They don't. And that's where many gun owners draw the line. Another interesting provision of this bill requires that anyone found in violation receive educational materials produced by New York's Office of Gun Violence Prevention. Supporters will say education's valuable. Sure, right? Education is valuable, just not done by the government. But many gun owners would argue that firearm education should come from experienced instructors or responsible parents or competitive shooters or hunters, military vets, and longtime firearms owners, not necessarily from government agencies and hacks that are often staffed by people, openly hostile to civilian firearm ownership in the first place. The bill also requires state officials to collect and analyze data regarding injuries or deaths involving minors and firearm storage issues. And here's where history becomes important, because we've seen this before. Data collection leads to reports, and those reports lead to recommendations, and those recommendations lead to more legislation. And more legislation almost always means additional restrictions, and it's a pattern we've seen for decades. And that's why the Second Amendment advocates remain skeptical whenever government expands its authority in this area. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What Brady United is celebrating today isn't merely a storage bill. It's another example of a broader strategy that we've seen for decades. It's called incrementalism. One restriction at a time, one regulation at a time, one new crime at a time, one additional mandate at a time. Each proposal is presented as modest, it's presented as reasonable, and as common sense. But taken together, they represent a continual expansion of government authority over a constitutionally protected right. And that's why vigilance matters, because rights are rarely lost all at once. They're usually eroded piece by piece. Now, regardless of where you stand on storage requirements, I think every gun owner should read this legislation for themselves. Don't rely on Brady's press release. Don't rely on politicians. Don't even rely on me. Read the bill. Understand what it says. Understand what it changes. Understand how it could affect you. And informed citizenry is the greatest defense against government overreach. And that's exactly why I cover these stories here on my channel. At the end of the day, firearm safety is important, as is responsible gun ownership. And teaching firearm safety to children is important. But protecting constitutional rights is more important. The challenge is ensuring that one objective does not become an excuse to undermine the other. And that's the debate surrounding Francesco's law. And I have a feeling this won't be the last time we hear about it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you believe this legislation is reasonable? Is it a reasonable safety measure? Do you believe it goes too far or creates new burdens on law-abiding gun owners? I want to hear from you, especially if you live in New York, because you guys are, it's like Munchausen syndrome. You just keep getting beaten and accepting and expecting more. And if you found value in this report, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and share this video with everybody you know. As always, thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for supporting my channel. And thank you for standing up for the Constitution. Until we see each other again, stay safe, stay armed, and stay free. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.